A sudden, brutal ambush ignites a desperate struggle for survival on the forest floor. Deep inside the dark tunnels, the invaders clash head-on with an overwhelming red defensive wall. With a final desperate strike, the legendary general risks everything to end the war. Deep within the shadows of the rainforest, a single lethal drop of venom prepares to strike. This is the ultimate clash of empires, Obsidian versus Ember. Down on the forest floor, a silent tension grips the damp soil. Here, sunlight barely pierces the heavy canopy of this brutal wilderness. Among these massive roots lies the sacred entrance to Colony Obsidian. The sentries stand guard, unyielding, heavy, and armed with the most painful sting in the world. Inside these quiet dirt chambers, elite warrior soldiers rest, waiting for the inevitable call to arms. Leading them is General Obsidian, a legendary battle-scarred veteran who fears absolutely nothing in this forest. A single strike from his stinger can paralyze a target with pure agonizing fire. Meet the Bullet Ant. Few in number but unmatched in raw strength. But just beyond the forest border, a very different empire awaits. Basking in the harsh open sun stands the massive Ember Mound. From a single relentless worker rises a chaotic super colony of millions of ravenous fire ants. Their massive dirt dome boils with constant motion, fueled by an endless, aggressive hunger. Deep inside their nest, Queen Ember continuously breeds an unstoppable, overwhelming army of destruction. Highly adaptable and brilliant, these fire ants can even form living rafts to cross water barriers. Meet the fire ant, overwhelming numbers, coordinated and completely ruthless. Elite individual strength versus a terrifying, endless tide of numbers. Between these two mighty insect civilizations, a fragile, high-stakes border is about to fracture. The peace is shattered, and a deadly match is about to ignite. A lone fire ant scout wanders deep into the grass, searching for vital new territory. Unknowingly, the tiny intruder crosses the leaf border and enters the dangerous Obsidian Empire. Distracted by a dead beetle, the scout remains completely unaware of the threat closing in. Suddenly, a towering, terrifying shadow falls over the scout, blocking out the daylight. In a split second, a massive bullet ant soldier lunges from the dark leaves, jaws wide open. The heavy stinger drives downward in slow motion, delivering a fatal dose of agonizing venom. The intruder convulses and dies, leaving a silent warning on the empty forest floor. But with its final breath, the dying scout releases a powerful chemical warning signal. The glowing orange pheromone trail races backward, cutting through the grass toward home. The signal hits the map. Instantly, millions of angry fire ants erupt in total chaos. The marching order is given, and a massive red column flows out to seek bloody revenge. The marching army passes like living towers over grass blades, an unstoppable crimson wave. Their sharp mandibles snap continuously, ready to tear apart any enemy in their path. Moving in highly coordinated waves, they prepare to overwhelm their giant rivals with sheer numbers. Back at the root nest, an Obsidian sentry rushes inside to sound the alarm. General Obsidian immediately rallies his heavy troops, preparing them for the brutal siege ahead. Each giant soldier tests their massive weapons, preparing to defend their home to the death. Through silent antennae touches, the elite defenders coordinate a desperate, high-stakes battle strategy. A hidden side tunnel offers a secret, high-risk tactical opportunity. A select strike force, Squad B, quietly assembles in the dark shadows of the roots. Under the cover of moss, they slip away unseen, embarking on a daring flank mission. Meanwhile, the relentless Ember army closes the distance, marching closer to the root nest. They swarm over massive fallen logs, refusing to let any obstacle slow their brutal advance. The tension peaks. Neither side knows the other's plan, but the clash is inevitable. The war drums intensify. There is no turning back now. The vanguard of the fire ant army finally arrives, breaching the outer forest borders. A tense standoff begins as the giant defenders face down a rising tide of red. The silence breaks. A giant bullet ant guard strikes first, crushing the lead attacker. The fire ant is flung backward, and the deadly war tally officially begins. A second wave of attackers crashes forward, but the Obsidian defensive line holds firm. Brutal duels break out as single guards fight off multiple vicious attackers at once. But the sheer, terrifying scale of the fire ant swarm begins to take its toll. Vicious bite and sting attacks slowly bring down the massive, exhausted defenders one by one. In a heroic last stand, a lone guard drops several enemies before finally collapsing. Surrounded on all sides by a boiling ring of red, the defender is overwhelmed. At the main choke point, casualties rise rapidly as both sides fight with absolute fury. Watching from the deep shadows, General Obsidian prepares to execute his master plan. Unseen, Squad B reaches the completely unprotected rear base of the fire ant mound. With terrifying strength, the heavy invaders violently breach the dry dirt mound wall. Absolute chaos erupts inside as the giant strike force tears through the narrow tunnels. Alarms echo through the Queen's chamber, forcing panic-stricken workers to desperately defend her. Two brutal battles rage simultaneously at the front and the rear. Realizing their home is under siege, the main fire ant force begins pulling back. The exhausted Chokepoint guards finally find relief as the waves of attackers retreat. Inside the mound, Squad B faces brutal close-quarters combat against the desperate defenders. Personally joining the offensive, General Obsidian strides through the breached tunnel walls. The general approaches the Queen's chamber, bringing the battle directly to their sovereign. Heavy fire ant majors step forward, forming a muscle-bound shield wall to block him. An epic, slow-motion final duel erupts between the veteran general and the defenders. With a lightning strike, the stinger connects, and the screen flashes in absolute silence. As dawn breaks, the battlefield lies silent, covered in fallen warriors. Both sides painfully carry their wounded back home, exhausted from the brutal clash. At the mound, resilient fire ants already work tirelessly to rebuild their home. General Obsidian leads his proud, battle-worn survivors back into the deep ground roots. The war pauses. Which of these legendary empires would you back? Subscribe to join the next clash of the miniature world, and leave a comment to back your colony.